Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Chad. So great to be with you. Excited about this week's testimony. Got my man Bernie with me. You've probably seen him up on stage slapping the bass a little bit here at Crossroads, but more importantly, just really awesome what the Lord's kind of doing in his life. So, Bernie, thanks for taking some time just to kind of share with us today, man. Really appreciate that. And I'd just like to hear, where do you really sense the Lord really kind of leaning in and working in your life right now?
He's came in a while back, but it's all led to this, and I guess you could say that he's brought a lot of happiness, fulfillment in my life that was kind of missing 1 year ago.
No kidding.
Definitely, I was playing stages, to people, and I was happy, but there was something in my life that wasn't there, and I lived my life for my kids, work and stage. And for people, but for some reason I was missing something in my relationship.
Yeah.
Not just with in God, but my relationship was really a total mess, pretty much.
Yeah. So how has that kind of affected you? Kind of this move that God's kind of made in your life, and kind of filling that void that was there. And
basically, long story short, I guess he put someone in my life that was just that person, that a beautiful lady in my life, and my fiance Cindy. He brought her in my life, and from there everything just happened, and it was a path that he brought her in my life to lead me to here.
Wow.
It was funny because she'd been coming to church for a long time. I've known Matt for a while.
Wow.
So we had different signs come up, and I had my friends who were ex-preachers come and say, hey, why don't you try this? Why don't you guys try praying together?
Wow.
So we came, and the very first one was at Jack Britt.
Right.
And it was incredible. I mean, the biggest sign of all was we got those prayer sheets.
Right.
And we opened it up, and we went down there, we stood in line, and we stood in the stand, and we sat there, and we watched everything that happened that day, from the music to everything. He was speaking to me.
Wow.
And I truly believe that. And afterwards, he said, open the prayers. So I had given my prayer to Cindy. Cindy just handed me one. So we don't know if
right.
And she opens hers. Hers says, bring new teammates to the church. Well, she brought me.
Wow.
So I opened mine up, and it was like James 1:27.
Right.
And it was, I can't remember it, but it was basically, about religion.
Right.
And you probably put it, off the top of your head?
No, not off the top of my head. You're putting me on the spot, Bernie.
But I remember, and it said, the biggest thing it says, it was basically to care for widows and orphans.
Yeah.
And basically not let corrupt you. Not
Right.
let the word corrupt you.
Right.
And I looked down, oh my God. And I looked at Cindy, and Cindy, let's say she's a widow. And she looked at it, and she looked at it, and she just looked at me.
Wow.
And we were in Jack Britt. We just sat down, and all of a sudden, she looks back at the chair, and she kisses me on the cheek. She goes, babe, look at your turn number. And I turned around, and it was number 107. 7 kept coming up.
Wow.
And so that kind of led me here. And after that, there was something there. It's like God telling you there's a woman who loves you, slapping you in the head.
Yeah.
And it's led me here. And, so that's kind of where
That's
I'm
awesome, man. That's so awesome, man. So kind of listening to you, kind of sound like, I was doing these things and life was going okay, but there was something that was kind of missing. And it, through this relationship with Cindy, and then being able to come here, it's actually opened up a door for some of the gifts and graces God's given you to actually use it for Him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
So instead of just not that it's wrong to play for people or to be anything like, but to actually be able to play for Him too is pretty awesome as well.
And it's funny because one thing that I did learn from there is that I always put other people on pedestals. I'm an okay bass player. I can hold my own.
Right.
But the one thing I always had a passion to entertain.
Yeah.
And playing in front of here, it's not about me. It's about Him.
Yeah.
But my contagious of excitement for the music is what excites other people, and I get them to clap, and I get them excited.
That's
and,
great.
and it's just contagious, and that's
awesome.
what it's all about. That's where I truly believe that's my God-given talent was to entertain, and with that, He's helped me spread the music and the enjoyment of it.
That's awesome. So, man, what would you say to someone who is maybe living life and they're kind of doing the best that they can, but maybe they haven't really kind of put their gifts and graces into action for the kingdom? You know, what would you kind of say to them? How would you encourage them?
I would say, you know, it's funny, and I've actually had a lot of guys that see me on Facebook, a lot of my fans or friends, and they're like, hey, can you pray for me? I said, well, why don't you come to church?
Right.
Just come. And it's funny because the only thing is I got to say is just come, and there's a feeling that if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. I believe everything happens for a reason.
Right.
And one of the best things I've ever heard someone say was, one of my friends / fans, she goes, I followed you 11 years ago. I never thought 11 years later I'd be following you to church.
Wow.
And that to me was one of the most powerful things I heard. And so it's just stepping out and the identity. You know, before one thing that God made me realize through all this is my identity wasn't from this former band I played in.
Right.
It wasn't this B-man persona that I created. Right. It's in him.
That's awesome.
You know, he's my identity, and so that he's pretty much taking me there. So I just say, reach out and just, you know,
find your identity there.
Yeah.
And out of that identity, God can show you ways to kind of put those gifts into action.
Definitely. For sure.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, man, thanks so much for taking some time to hang out. Really appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing a little bit of snapshot of Bernie's testimony live this week. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. We'll see you all on Sunday. Take care.